Tom, a 68-year-old man, lived in a small mountain village nestled deep in the mountains. The village was modest in size, and its inhabitants led simple farming lives, with Tom being no exception. His days were characterized by regularity, simplicity, and tranquility. However, his life took a dramatic turn a few years back when he encountered an injured bear. Before this encounter, Tom was a reserved individual who preferred not to engage in conversation, leading the villagers to perceive him as having a pleasant personality. His sole hobby was smoking, and he always carried his smoking bag wherever he went. One summer morning, Tom followed his usual routine, rising early and enjoying a casual breakfast before grabbing his hatchet and heading to the mountains to chop wood. As he traversed a dense jungle, he suddenly heard animal roars emanating from the trees. Startled, he took several steps back, accidentally flinging his cigarette bag a few meters away. Despite his ancestral familiarity with the deep mountains and their wildlife, Tom had never been so close to a wild beast. The roar filled him with terror, immobilizing him with fear that the creature lurking in the bushes might attack him. After a prolonged period of staring at the rustling bushes without any sign of an animal emerging, curiosity overcame fear. Tom cautiously approached the bushes, but the dense foliage obstructed his view. Using his hatchet, he fashioned a wooden stick to clear the bushes and reveal the source of the commotion. As soon as the stick entered the bushes, another roar startled Tom, causing him to quickly retract his hands and stumble to the ground. He scrambled to his feet and sought refuge behind a large tree. Despite his fear, he knew he couldn't linger there. Determined to resume chopping wood, he took a few steps forward, only to be met with yet another roar from the trees, intensifying his unease. Unable to proceed without understanding the source of the roars, Tom steeled himself and approached the bushes again, using the stick to probe further. Despite the intermittent roars, his curiosity drove him to persist. As he pushed aside the thick foliage, he finally laid eyes on the source of the noise. Before him lay a massive bear, its body still and seemingly the source of the roars. The bear was visibly injured, covered in blood, yet it remained motionless even as Tom approached. Nervous about the potential for the bear to suddenly spring into action, Tom cautiously sat at a safe distance, observing the bear while smoking a cigarette to calm his nerves. With each puff, Tom's resolve grew. He realized the bear was significantly large, weighing over 400 pounds, and bore deep, bleeding wounds, particularly severe on its legs, where patches of skin had been torn away, likely in an encounter with a predator. The bear lay still, its eyes fixed on Tom, seeming to cling to a glimmer of hope for survival. Tom felt a surge of pity, but he knew it was impossible to transport such a large animal back home for treatment. Recalling his own methods for treating injuries with herbs gathered from the mountains, he wondered if the same approach could help the bear. Without hesitation, Tom gathered a variety of wound-healing herbs and crushed them with stones. However, he kept a cautious distance from the bear, mindful of the potential danger if it became agitated. Desperate to help, he used vines to bind the bear's limbs and sealed its mouth. Surprisingly, the bear remained calm, seemingly trusting Tom's intentions. After applying the herbs to the wounds to stop the bleeding and reduce inflammation, Tom worried that other predators might attack the bear again. To protect it, he loosened the vines and covered the bear with his coat, hoping that the scent of a human would deter other beasts. Though uncertain of the bear's chances of survival, Tom felt content knowing he had done his best. He resumed his wood-chopping duties, but thoughts of the bear lingered. On his way home, he decided to check on the bear and was relieved to find its spirits lifted. Noticing the bear's hunger, Tom gathered grass from the hillside and placed it near its mouth, hoping to provide some nourishment. The bear took a hearty bite of the grass, and the next day, when Tom ventured into the jungle to check on it again, he was disappointed to find that the bear had vanished, leaving behind only the clothes Tom had used to cover it, now scattered on the ground. Uncertain if the bear had left of its own accord or if something had happened, Tom had to leave for work, eventually forgetting about the incident. However, 3 months later, a dramatic event unfolded. It was autumn, and the weather had turned cold. Tom, known for his hard work and grounded nature, spent his days laboring and retired to bed after dinner. In the midst of a deep sleep, he was abruptly awakened by his wife, who claimed to have heard noises outside the door, accompanied by loud barking from the village dogs. She urged Tom to investigate. Rubbing his eyes and holding his breath, Tom listened intently and indeed heard footsteps outside. He quickly dressed and approached the door cautiously, peering through a crack to see a bear illuminated by moonlight. The bear sniffed the ground and scanned its surroundings, occasionally looking up. Initially startled, Tom soon recognized the bear. It was the same one he had rescued in the jungle 3 months prior. The bear, too, seemed to recognize him, taking a few steps toward the door and meeting Tom's gaze. With a flood of recognition, Tom slowly opened the door and stepped outside. As the bear approached him with a low noise, Tom realized that the bond they had formed in the jungle had not been forgotten. Tom stood nervously at the door, uncertain of the bear's intentions. However, the bear showed no signs of aggression, easing Tom's fear. Just as the bear was about to approach, Tom's wife, witnessing the scene, let out a scream that startled Tom. By the time he recovered, the bear had vanished. Despite recounting the incident to his wife, they remained puzzled by the bear's nocturnal visits. Over time, the bear became a regular visitor, with Tom growing accustomed to its presence and even forming a bond, often petting its head. Remarkably, the bear displayed remarkable docility, occasionally playfully tugging at Tom's trousers. Unsure why the bear sought him out at night, Tom assumed it was hungry and generously fed it with so-feed concentrate. Several months later, Tom and his wife experienced a joyful event. After a harsh winter and heavy snowfall, their sow showed signs of imminent birth. They anxiously stayed by her side, fearing for the safety of the newborns. Late one night, the sow delivered a surprising litter of 12 bear cubs. To their bewilderment, the cubs resembled bears rather than piglets. Despite the confusion, the couple found the cubs irresistibly adorable, quickly tending to them by lighting a fire to keep them warm. They devoted themselves to caring for the cubs, ensuring they received proper nourishment and protection from the cold. As evening descended, the bear returned to Tom's house, prompting the realization that it was indeed a wild bear, explaining the unexpected birth of bear cubs from their sow. Through careful nurturing by Tom and his wife, all 12 cubs thrived, growing faster and healthier than their domestic counterparts. Word of the extraordinary event spread quickly, attracting attention from neighboring communities and out-of-town businessmen who eagerly placed orders for the bear cubs at significantly higher prices than domestic bears. This unexpected windfall brought joy to Tom and his wife, who were grateful for the unexpected blessing. Many attributed the bear's presence and the miraculous event to Tom's kindness, believing that the bear sought to repay his benevolence by frequenting his house after its initial injury. Tom, humble in his response, remained silent, contentedly puffing on his cigarette. Indeed, animals, like dogs, quickly warm up to those who exhibit genuine kindness and good intentions. Though they cannot articulate gratitude verbally or keep journals, they express their appreciation through their actions. This observation, drawn from personal experiences with pets and shelter animals, as well as extensive research, underscores the capacity of animals to form deep attachments to their caregivers and even mourn their loss for years, demonstrating the breadth and depth of empathy across species. Animals demonstrate empathy toward humans and other animals through various behaviors, such as providing comfort, mourning losses, and sometimes even risking their lives to rescue others from danger.